Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of REVlogue. Hyundai has just released their new Kona N. No, not the N line, the actual N. Let's go through some numbers. Same engine as the Veloster N, but this one makes 288 horsepower. You get the 10 horsepower boost for 20 seconds when you activate the NGS button. It's still front-wheel drive with the torque vectoring system. It does 0 to 62 miles per hour in 5.5 seconds, which is quite rapid. I think the closest competitor that immediately comes into my mind is the John Coupe horse, or the JCW version of the Mini Countryman. That one's got around 300 horsepower and it does 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds. So I think they're pretty much on par. Small SUVs going for that fun to drive factor. Apparently the car will start around $35,000, but let's see. Hyundai has, well, it's not Hyundai, it's the dealers that have the markup on these cool products. And for those of you who haven't seen the video about how I feel about the crazy markup nowadays, go ahead and click this video above. Now onto the exterior. Yeah, it's I would say it's a right amount of aggressiveness. In general, when I first saw the N products, I was really in love with the sky blue and the red accents. But the more and more I look at it, especially the Veloster N, I really like the red color because I think the red has a subtle, let's say the accents are a little bit more subtle on those cars. The red and black is just a really nice, simple combination. So if I were to spec this car, I'd probably also go for a red and black combination. What I do like though is I think the new logo, at least on the photos, it seems to be more of a metallic black. And I think that's a nice change, especially on the existing Veloster with such a large black grille. I always thought the regular chrome logo on there looks a little bit misplaced. So I really like this new metallic black color on there. A few more numbers for you. Apparently you have a choice of wheels. The regular 19-inch wheels, or you get the really lightweight forged alloys that save 12 kilos per corner, if I read that correctly or heard that correctly somewhere. 12 kilos, geez, that's 26 pounds roughly per corner. I don't know what that option will be, but sounds pretty promising. Another piece of number information for you, 36 additional welding spots for chassis rigidity. To me, this kind of spec really, says, hey, we've done the homework, we're making the chassis stiffer. It's not just an aesthetic piece, it truly is an N brand product. Not to mention also the knuckles are also aluminum on the N cars. In terms of the interior, a lot of the familiar things you see from the Veloster N, same steering wheel and the shift knob. Now, there are a couple of key differences, notably the red NGS button. I love that. I think it plays off of that playfulness that the N brand has, and it just makes it a little bit more engaging to use. I think the Veloster N, they needed a placement for the auto blip from the manual car, so they kind of hid the NGS button in there. Still a welcome feature, but it's nothing super enticing from the user, especially when you first drive it, you probably won't even find it. But with the red button, I think it's a really nice, obvious button that just asks you to press it. So that's really nice and exciting. What's also exciting is the digital gauge cluster, which I think is a new change for 2022 Konas, but that carries over to the N variant as well. And we see a lot of really cool things in terms of the graphics. And in the center screen, you also see circuit layouts. Apparently these track maps are downloadable. So I guess that's a welcome change as well. For me personally, I use an app to track my lap times, and one less thing to carry into the tracks, things flying off potentially is a good thing in my eyes. But how many people actually use the lap timer on the Kona N? I don't know, maybe you. Like Savage Kids did in one video, maybe you just time yourself going through a McDonald's drive-thru or something. Now apparently these are all nice changes, but I was a little disappointed to see the really nice N seat with the N logo lighting up in the new Veloster not carry over to the Kona. I guess I don't know, like maybe it was a price point thing. Rumor has it, again, the car will start at $35,000, which I think is a phenomenal value for what you get. But if you're an N enthusiast, you probably already figured out that the KDM seats, you get the nice leather bucket and the Alcantara insert in the middle with heated and ventilated function. So it's a little, it's a trade-off, right? You can get those features for more money. I wish we had the option in the US though. Obviously the people in Korea, they don't get the 10-year warranty. So yeah, at the end of the day, it was probably a price point thing. In terms of active safety, which I think Hyundai is actually one of the best, you get the lane keep and you get the forward collision, auto braking and all this, but you do not get the automatic fully coming to a stop and continuing in traffic situations, the stop and go traffic situations. So for those of you who do commute a lot, I think that is an important feature. So that is something for you to take note. Now that we've gone through the actual overview of the car, I want to talk about some of the really exciting things that Hyundai kind of dropped the news. And this may go very well unnoticed from a lot of people. So to me, it's exciting, obviously, as a Hyundai Kia fan. But they basically hinted that they have a race car in plan.
We are not only revealing the next model in the N family, but also envisioning N's future direction of electric performance.
And there's also a few outlets in Korea in terms of media that I watch carefully for a lot of Hyundai and Kia news. And midiaAUTO seems to indicate that Hyundai is very much interested in attending the LeMans. Apparently Formula 1 is not really in plan because they think F1 is, with the open wheels and all, it's not really, you don't have a lot of technology that you can trickle down into the production cars, at least production Hyundai car prices anyways. But they feel that LeMans is a pretty good platform. We've already seen Hyundai destroy the WRC and WTCR. So I'd be really excited to see Hyundai attend LeMans as one of the manufacturers. The N 2025 concept that was shown in the Vision Gran Turismo in 2015, that's basically their LeMans car being shown in the flesh. And what's really exciting is the one of the executives basically say, we could potentially show up with a race car that does both battery electric, BEV, and fuel cell. And that's something that no one's ever done before. Using hydrogen fuel cell and a battery, electric battery as a hybrid. So this is super exciting news. And also another piece of nugget that they dropped was that there's potential to make an electric N product. We've seen already from the Kia EV6 that it can make absolutely a lot of horsepower. The Hyundai RM20e already has 800 horsepower using the 800 volt technology, which actually did trickle down into the Ioniq 5. Of the Ioniq concept family, there is this thing called the Ioniq 6, the Prophecy, and it just only happens to look kind of like a 911 sports car, sort of a car. So I think it's a safe bet that they could potentially turn that car into an electric E product with massive horsepower. But let's see. Apparently the eGMP platform can take up to 600 horsepower, and we've, like I said, we've already seen that in the Kia EV6 platform. So I'm just waiting anxiously to see, what sort of exciting product Hyundai N will produce next. Something tells me though it'll be out of my price range. Now, usually I'm not a huge fan of CUVs in general, but I really welcome this Kona N because I actually think a lot of people will flock to this platform versus the Veloster N, and that just means more Veloster Ns for me. I'm still waiting for it to drop in price, the DCT version, but hopefully this will help in terms of the reduction in value for the Veloster N. What do you think about the new Hyundai's Kona N and the overall direction of where the N brand is going? Let us know in the comments down below.